So sometimes I get like codes to games from like developers, and they want me to download some crazy things and give me like all this big essay about what the game they're making and stuff. And sometimes I just get a simple, hey, do you want to try my game? And a code. And that's pretty much what this was. I do love indie developers, like especially when there's a one-man team who just makes something cool and new that's different. And this is definitely different. I'm not even sure what I'm looking at.
This is boxed out, and I think the best way to describe this is it's very easy to understand, but surprisingly hard to truly master.
Okay, so I got green, so I can change these guys. Whoa.
On paper, the premise is simple. You place, change, and connect colored cubes, trying to clear them efficiently. That part is intuitive. Anyone can pick this up and understand the goal almost immediately. Where the game struggles is explaining how its systems actually work.
Oh, there's a big tutorial button. Let's click that first. Welcome to
the tutorial technically tells you what buttons to press, but it doesn't do a great job of helping you understand the logic behind the mechanics. A lot of the understanding comes from trial and error, failing a few times, noticing patterns, slowly piecing things together.
Oh, so it becomes the same color as the stream, right? Yeah. Got it. So if I do this, I get a red one there and a red one there. Now I get it.
That's not necessarily bad, but here it feels unintentional rather than designed. Text-based instructions in VR are also part of the problem. Reading press left button or press right button on a floating screen is, well, annoying, especially if you're trying to stay engaged in the physical space. This really should be more visual. Show the controller, highlight the button, make it glow. Even better, use voiceover. If there's ever a place where the spoken instructions makes more sense than text, it's in VR. And today, it's easy and cheap to produce because of AI. Once the game does click, when you realize that you can both build cubes and change cubes, and that the color beam is randomized and how those systems interact, the experience improves a lot. But a lot of that could and should be communicated more clearly up front. Conceptually, I actually like the core idea. It feels a bit like Connect 4 style puzzle translated into VR. At first, when you stand at one end of the room and look into it, it honestly feels like something that could be played on a flat-screen game, but the moment you start moving around, standing above the puzzle, below it, circling it...
Oh, yeah, we can really go up here and play around.
That's when it becomes interesting. That spatial freedom is the strongest part of Boxed Out. And it's also where the game starts justifying its existence in VR. Unfortunately, the controls don't always support that idea. Both the pointing beam and the teleport beam are straight lines. Many of the puzzles encourage vertical movement and positioning on top of structures, but the straight beam makes that awkward and unintuitive. A curved beam, like most VR games use, would immediately make vertical navigation easier and would actively encourage players to move through the space, especially in solitary mode. When the system finally lines up and you start clearing cubes efficiently, the game becomes really satisfying. Watching chains disappear, seeing everything collapse cleanly, it taps into that same reward loop that makes games like Tetris so compelling. But that satisfaction isn't reinforced by feedback.
What is that sound?
The sound that plays when you lose your multiplier is particularly irritating. And worse, it's unclear. The game doesn't visually tell you what just happened. Did I just lose my multiplier? Did I do something wrong? Was I too slow? There needs to be a clear visual cue, somewhere in the environment or floating in front of you, that explains what that sound actually means. The same goes for the scoring. If I earn a big multiplier or large chunks of points, I want to see it. Big numbers, floating text, something that reinforces why that move mattered. Right now, the feedback is too subtle for a game that's built entirely around efficiency and timing. There's also an identity issue visually. I like that you can customize the look of the game, but as a single developer project, I actually think that this works against it. It feels less like a stylistic choice and more like an avoidance of committing to one visual direction. I strongly recommend picking a single style and sticking with it, then using the others as unlocks or progression rewards later. Right now, it feels unfocused. Overall, I think Boxed Out is a solid foundation. It's simple, approachable, and once it clicks, it's fun and satisfying. It could use some refinement, a clearer tutorial, better visual feedbacks, improved movement tools, and more confident presentation. This could become a very strong VR puzzle game. So, if you enjoy puzzle games and like small indie VR experiences, I do recommend downloading and trying Boxed Out. There is some real potential here, and it's absolutely worth spending some time with, especially if you're curious about those spatial VR puzzles. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll talk to you next time.
Shit. You gotta be faster than this. I need to stop thinking so much and just start shooting. You know? Oh, blue, yellow.